Hey everyone, my name is Donovan and I'm a transpersonal hypnotherapist. Have you ever wondered why you tend to repeat the same negative patterns over and over again, while at the same time not knowing how to resolve this issue? So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why we tend to do these things and also about how we can work about changing this kind of behavior. So let me start off with a simple example. Say for example I'm waiting at a coffee shop for a friend and they haven't arrived, they haven't sent me a message that they're running late, and I start to get a little bit worried. Now, not everyone is the same obviously, but I'm using a random example of a person who tends to get uptight in these situations. So I'm waiting for the friend and they're not arriving and I'm kind of getting worried, and at the same time I'm getting frustrated that if everything is alright, how come they haven't contacted me? So my friend eventually arrives, they are safe, nothing was really wrong and no real explanation was given. They do tell me though their phone went dead and they were in a bit of a rush. But now I'm so filled with anger and at the same time kind of relieved that they are alright, that I've kind of ruined it for the rest of the meeting, and I'm a bit snappy with them and short with them, and I leave our meeting in a bit of a huff. When I get home, however, I feel really bad for the way I've treated my friend, and I'm not sure why I tend to do these things, why I allow these things to boil inside of me. So this is where the magic of something called cognitive behavioral therapy comes along, or CBT as it's often called. It tends to look at the actual events that are happening, the reality of the situation. Once we know the reality of the situation, we can then point out elements of that which we can learn to change in the future. This works really well with repeating patterns. So with the example in the coffee shop, I notice every time things aren't quite going my way, I tend to act in a certain way. So we'll look at first one part of it, which is the environment. What was the environment that really triggered this whole situation? The environment was me waiting at the coffee shop for my friend. So I would definitely encourage you to start journaling these elements. So number one is environment. Where were you? What was happening? The second part to look at is your thoughts and the mental images that were going on when you were starting to get triggered. You'll notice you may even repeat very similar thought patterns and images. So if you're going to journal this stuff, write it down. What were my actual thoughts? So I might be thinking, wow, he's late. This always happens to me. It's so frustrating. Why do people do this to me? I may have further images of people getting into a car accident, or this person is ignoring me and decided to do something else without telling me, whatever the situation is. Then we look at the feelings, the emotional response that I'm starting to feel. There can be a few, but you'll tend to notice the main ones. So immediately there's this sense of frustration going on inside me. There may be a sense of worry. There may be a sense of anger. Start to look at the feelings that are starting to generate. A good idea to also look at where in the body you're starting to feel this. You may start to notice a lot of thought processes going on in the head, a lot of spinning thoughts or fixating thoughts, and you may start to notice feelings in the chest or the stomach. Then I want you to look at the behavior, the outcome of all of this. So often the thoughts, the mental images and the feelings are very internal. Then the behavior is the action, the outcome of this. This is what we present back to the world. So how was my behavior? You'll notice I was short with my friend, I was snappy, I was irritable with our conversation, and it didn't end off in a good note. So summarize what was happening there. Then the most important thing is, it's not time for us to be hard on ourselves, because we were only acting, or at least reacting, to the situation the best way we knew how. And this is based on our past. So, for an example, when I was younger, a friend died in a car accident. And this left a mental scar in my mind. So Every time I may be expecting someone and they're late, images of that situation happening immediately start to come back. Then I worry about their safety, and then if their safety is fine, then I'm frustrated that they haven't told me they're safe, and these things start to play out. So look at this moment and say, why is this moment understandable? What is it in my past that makes this happen? So once you summarize this, have a look at what maintains this kind of behavior. I may be maintaining this behavior because a part of me is so worried that this unexpected event's going to happen that I'm almost expecting it to happen. So I'm on guard all the time. I'm looking after myself in a way, because if something unexpected happens, at least I'm protecting the vulnerability of the heart. So once we've looked at these elements, we want to see at how we can start changing this. We don't want to change everything, and it would be impossible to change everything. But you did notice there were 5 elements: environment, thoughts, mental images, feelings, behavior. We can change any one of those and start to get a different result. Thoughts aren't real until we make them real. They're just noise in our mind, really. And we can really do a lot with our thoughts. Our thoughts tend to create our reality, and if we can stop the negative thought patterns, we can stop a lot of the noise that happens after that. Our thoughts may be, where is he? Why isn't he calling? We can change this to go thinking, okay, fair enough, maybe we don't know where he is and he hasn't called. Maybe there's a reason for this. So until I know any better, then let me not make any assumptions, because that's probably the main problem, is we're assuming something that may or may not be true without having the evidence to support it. Let's look at those images. Now, the minute your thoughts tend to go in a more negative downward spiral, the images that you'll perceive in your mind may be negative. So immediately I might be thinking car accident, or they've abandoned me, or whatever the thought is. I could change that and think, maybe they're just on their way. Obviously it's not a good idea to phone someone while you are driving. So there may be normal circumstances to this. I may even want to move my attention to something else. What is it I can rather focus on? What is more important to me than the frustrations that I'm currently feeling? Maybe I can use this time wisely. Then comes the feelings. So the feelings can be quite a tricky area to navigate. When adrenaline moves through the body, it will immediately generate some feelings inside you. Now the interesting thing is that there are such similarities between excitement and fear that they can actually merge into each other quite often. You'll notice this when you are doing something exhilarating like bungee jumping or skydiving. You'll notice there's fear and excitement jumping into each other all the time. We can actually use this to our advantage. So if I'm starting to feel more negative feelings and I know this is happening, I can start to actually trick my mind into thinking something positive and getting excited on that. So I know that kind of sounds like a bit of woo-woo, but test it out. See what you get from it. See what really excites you in life and move your attention towards that direction. The interesting thing you may notice is the mind, although it wants to fixate, it can get distracted very easily. And if you can distract it for just long enough, you'll find that heightened emotional response towards that situation just naturally tends to dissolve. So yes, this comes with practice. You may get it wrong many times. You may still have maybe another meeting with a friend and they arrive late and you're still frustrated, but maybe you're not as frustrated. Maybe you handle it a little bit better. Take that over the next few meetings, over the next few years, you get better and better and better. And over a while, you tend to notice that you are completely changed because of these small actions that you've been taking. So I just want to thank you for taking the time for watching this video. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and click the little bell to notify you when I make new videos. My name is Donovan and I'm a transpersonal hypnotherapist. Thanks, bye bye. Please press the subscribe button now and click the bell to get notified when my new videos come out.